The last passenger on Platform 7. A train station mystery that still baffles detectives. The vanishing. It was a cold March evening in 1997 when the 9:45 southbound train pulled into Meresbury Station, cloaked in mist and an unsettling silence. The lights flickered briefly. Somewhere on Platform 7, a young woman stood alone, her figure slight, her coat buttoned tight, her suitcase scuffed and rain-speckled. CCTV later captured her stepping forward, looking left, then vanishing. There was no trace, no boarding records, no footprints in the soft grime of the platform, no witnesses, just a name in the system. Eleanor Ward, 24, en route to her mother's funeral in Brighton. That was the last anyone saw of her. A town wrapped in fog. Meresbury wasn't known for much. A wool town in the 1800s, a derelict shell by the mid-1900s. Its train station, however, remained oddly busy, used more as a junction than a destination. It was also the kind of place where things could disappear. Wallets, dogs, children. Platform 7 was the most remote, set apart by a rusted overpass and a wind tunnel that howled like an organ pipe. In the local pub, old-timers called it the Gate. To what? No one ever said. And Eleanor Ward wasn't the first to vanish from it. The detective who couldn't let go. Detective Inspector Grace Halden was assigned the Eleanor Ward case in spring of '97. What began as a routine missing persons file quickly gnawed at her. Eleanor had no enemies, no debts, no signs of a breakdown. She was a florist, quiet, punctual, still grieving her father's death just 2 weeks earlier. Grace expected to close the case in days. Instead, it consumed her. She reviewed every inch of CCTV. Station staff swore no train departed that Eleanor could have boarded. No person matching her description was seen anywhere else. Her ID, suitcase, coat, all vanished. And at exactly 9:51 p.m., the clocks on Platform 7 froze for 7 minutes. 7 minutes missing. Grace dug into signal failures, electromagnetic anomalies, even solar activity. Nothing explained the glitch, and no other platform was affected. Only Platform 7. She interviewed every porter and engineer. No one saw Eleanor after 9:45 p.m. The only oddity? A faint, crackling voice captured during an intercom test. "She doesn't belong here. She never did." It wasn't logged, and it wasn't anyone from staff. The voice, disembodied, distant, never repeated. Grace began to feel like the station was whispering back. A pattern in the disappearances. By 1998, Grace had compiled over a decade's worth of lost person reports. A boy in 1961, a soldier on leave in 1954, a nurse in 1980, a teenage pianist in 1989, all last seen near or on Platform 7. Each vanished between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Each file shared a single haunting note. The clocks stopped. Most were dismissed, presumed runaways, drownings, wartime trauma. But one station logbook from 1951 gave her chills. Train 713 arrived. Not on schedule. No record in the signal house. 5 boarded. None returned. There was no official record of any Train 713. The shadow station. One phrase had lingered in Grace's notebook for years, scribbled during a conversation with a homeless man outside the station in '98. She'd written it down and forgotten it. Until now. They take him to the Shadow Station. At the time, she dismissed it as nonsense. But now it rang with a darker resonance. There were whispers among retired conductors of a phantom platform, or ghost line, that never showed on the schematics, but left behind residue, pulsing electricity, clocks that ran fast or slow, passengers who blinked out of sight. It wasn't just metaphor. The origins of the Phantom Train. Grace gained limited access to wartime archives in 2003. Buried under Operation Lynx, a classified military transport project, was a reference to a sealed sub-platform under Meresbury. The project involved Engine 713, a prototype built in 1943 for covert operations. It ran without standard signals, using experimental magnetic propulsion. Designed to evade radar, it reportedly drew energy from underground ley lines. According to one declassified report, Engine 713 vanished during a trial run in 1951 with 5 military scientists aboard. The project was immediately shut down. The tunnel? Sealed. The engine? Declared lost. Grace believed it had never left. The Conductor's Journal. In 2011, the estate sale of William Hargrove, a retired conductor, revealed a battered leather notebook spanning 1972 to 1974. One entry stopped her breath. April 3rd, 1973. Another one today. Young man in green coat. Waited on platform 7. Never boarded. We found his bag, but no trace of him. Second this year. I'll ask around. The bosses say, keep quiet. Don't spook the commuters. 5 such entries in total, all referencing people disappearing on platform 7, all describing strange electrical flickers and, again, the clocks stopped. Into the tunnel. In February 2014, Grace returned to Meresbury alone. She found the overgrown entry to the wartime tunnel near Track 12. Using bolt cutters and a crowbar, she broke through the rusted gate and descended. The air was dense, charged with something ancient and wrong. Echoes bounced unnaturally. Shadows lingered longer than light. Then she saw it. A train car, faded and ghostly, covered in dust, but undeniably real. On its side, a rusted plaque. 713. The door stood open. The passenger manifest. Inside, a single bulb flickered overhead. The car was empty except for a stack of worn pages on a seat. Passenger manifests. The final sheet, Eleanor Ward, March 14, 1997. And beneath it, in the same handwriting, Grace Halden, March 14, 2017. Her stomach dropped. 10 years from Eleanor's disappearance. She turned the paper over. A message, faintly etched in pencil. Don't let it take you. 7 minutes. That's all you get. Suddenly, a low hum filled the tunnel. The train sighed, like it was waking. Grace ran. The walls seemed to close in. Her flashlight dimmed, and behind her, the unmistakable sound of a train engine powering up. She burst into the open air just as her watch ticked from 9:51 to 9:58. 7 minutes lost. A deal with the darkness. Grace never spoke publicly about what she saw, but she filed a confidential memo warning the department to permanently restrict access to Platform 7 between 9 and 10 p.m. She was ignored. Still, she posted herself there every March 14th. She believed Engine 713 had once been a scientific marvel. But the experiment had torn something. through time, through space, through memory. Now, it hunted patterns, and it remembered names. The Clockmaker's Warning. In 2016, Grace received a letter from an old horologist named Vernon Glass, who'd serviced the platform clocks until 1984. Platform 7 was always a bit funny, he wrote. You set the time, turn your back, and it'd gain 7 minutes. Or lose them. Always 7. Vernon had once opened the old clock casing and found something etched inside. Time is not linear. It loops where memory clings. He quit the very next day. The final disappearance. Grace retired in 2020. She moved to a cottage just outside Meresbury. For 4 years, she stayed quiet, until March 14, 2024. That morning, her neighbor found her front door ajar. Her tea was still warm, her coat still hanging, her wallet untouched. On her kitchen table sat a tiny glass daisy. And at Meresbury Station, Platform 7's clocks froze again for 7 minutes. A new generation. In the spring of 2025, a new detective arrived in Meresbury. Her name was Charlotte Ward. Fresh-faced, sharp-minded, and carrying a secret. She was Eleanor Ward's niece. As a child, she'd heard the hushed family whispers about the aunt who vanished. The tragedy no one explained. The file her mother had burned. The photo she'd once found. Eleanor smiling in front of a flower shop, holding a handmade glass daisy. Charlotte transferred herself to Meresbury Division by choice. She didn't tell anyone why, but every evening she lingered by Platform 7. She studied its schedule, its lights, its silences. She didn't tell anyone about the dream either. A foggy platform, a whistle in the distance, a train number she could never forget, 713, and her name, slowly appearing on a sheet of yellowed paper. She waited, because she believed. And she wasn't going to let the train take anyone else, not without a fight.